You're standing in a room full of people who all share your last name. Same blood, same family line. But each face is different. Each voice is its own. Now stretch that idea past the edge of what your mind can hold. One being, three faces, not three gods. Not one god in a costume. Something stranger. Something that cracked open the ancient world and still won't sit still inside your brain. But to feel why this matters, you have to stand in a room where the stakes were life and death. The year is 325, a port city on the edge of modern Turkey. Over 300 bishops have been called to one place by an emperor who doesn't fully grasp the ideas, but knows a split church means a split empire. The heat is brutal. The arguments are worse. At the center of it all sits one question that sounds simple and is anything but. Is the Son of God made, or has he always been? A priest from Egypt named Arius had been teaching something that felt tidy. God the Father came first. The Son was his greatest creation. Beautiful, powerful, but still made. Like a master painter and his finest canvas. The canvas owes its life to the painter. It is not the painter. For Arius, this kept things clean. One God, one source. Everything else flows down from there. And honestly, that version is easy to swallow. It fits a ladder. Father on top, Son one rung down, Spirit below that. Neat, clear, wrong, according to the bishops who gathered in that sweltering hall. Here's why they fought back. If the Son is a creature, even the highest creature, then worship aimed at the Son is aimed at something less than God. Prayer becomes misdirected. The whole thing falls apart. You can't be saved by a being who is less than the source of all life. That was the gut punch behind the debate. This was not word games. This was about whether prayer itself was broken. So they reached for a word, a Greek word that would echo for ages. It meant same stuff, same essence. The Father and the Son are not similar. They are the same being, not the same person, the same being. And that gap between for person and for being is where the whole mystery lives. Think about it this way. You know what water is. You know what it does. But water shows up as ice, as liquid, as steam. Same stuff, three forms. People love that image, and it almost works. Almost. The problem is ice can't be steam at the same time. They take turns, but the Father, Son, and Spirit don't take turns. They exist all at once, always. So the water image cracks under pressure. That cracking matters because a priest in Rome about a century before the council had already warned against this exact trap. He was fighting a teacher who said God was just one actor wearing different masks. Sometimes the mask of Father, sometimes the mask of Son, one face behind all three. The Roman priest pushed back hard. He said these aren't masks. These are real, distinct centers of life within one God. He borrowed a word from the stage. In Roman courts and theaters, it meant the face behind the role. He used it to say something wild. God has three of these. Three real faces. Not roles, not costumes, three who's inside one what. But words are slippery. In the Latin-speaking West, his term worked well. In the Greek-speaking East, a different word carried the weight. And for decades, those two words caused chaos. People thought the two halves of the church were saying different things. But they were reaching for the same truth from opposite sides of a language barrier. Three brilliant thinkers in what is now central Turkey finally cleared the fog. They said, look, we all agree God is one being. We all agree there are three distinct realities within that being. Let's nail down terms. One word for the shared nature. One word for the distinct realities. The shared nature is what God is. The distinct realities are who God is. What and who? Not the same question. Not the same answer. And here's where it gets strange and beautiful. These three thinkers didn't stop at labels. They asked a deeper question. If the three persons share one nature and exist together forever, what is the bond between them? Not rank, not sequence, something else. One of them, writing from a city near the Black Sea, reached for a dance. He described the three persons as dancers moving through one another. Not crashing, not blending, passing through. Each one distinct, each one holding its shape. But so close, so woven together, that you can't pull one out without losing the whole pattern. You've seen something like this if you've ever watched three streams of colored light overlap on a white wall. Red stays red, blue stays blue, green stays green. But where they meet, something new appears. White light, full, complete. Not because any color gave up what it was, but because together they form something none of them could form alone. That image of the dance solved a problem that raw logic couldn't. If you think of the three persons as standing apart, you get three gods. If you smash them together, you get one actor in masks. But if they move through each other, always distinct, always together, you get something that has no real parallel in human life. And maybe that's the point. Still, there's a sharp objection here that deserves respect. Critics say the whole idea is a raw clash. 1 equals 3. 3 equals 1. That breaks math. That breaks logic. And the objection is fair if you're counting the same thing in both cases. But you're not. The noun refers to being. The nothrin refers to persons. It's like asking how a triangle can have 3 corners and 1 shape. No clash. Different questions. Different answers. Now, does that solve everything? No. And here's where honesty matters more than comfort. The dance image, the light image, the triangle, they all break if you push them far enough. Every human picture of this reality limps at some point. A triangle has no will. Dancers can crash into each other. Light beams don't love each other. Every image is a finger pointing at the moon, not the moon itself. The moment you forget that, you've built an idol out of a metaphor. But notice something about the failures. Each image fails in a different place. Water fails because the states don't coexist. The triangle fails because shapes have no feelings. The dance fails because bodies can collide. But each one lights up a real side of the truth before it breaks. Put them all together, and you get a dim but honest outline of something no single image can hold. Let's go back to that hall in 325. The bishops chose their word. Same essence. But the fight didn't end. For decades, the losing side pushed back. Emperors switched sides depending on who had their ear. Bishops were exiled, recalled, exiled again. This was not a clean vote followed by peace. This was a war of letters, sermons, and pressure that dragged on for over 50 years. It took another council, more than half a century later, to settle the question of the Spirit. The first gathering had focused on the Son. The second asked the same question about the Spirit. And the answer came back the same. Not made, not lesser, not a force or an energy. A person. Equal, eternal, sharing the same being as the Father and the Son. Now, why should any of this matter to someone watching this on a screen today? Here's the thread that runs through all of it. If God's deepest nature is not raw power, not lonely perfection, but a community of persons pouring life into each other, then the whole universe is built on a bond. Love isn't something God decided to do. Love is what God is. And that changes everything about how you see community, identity, and belonging. Think about it from the other side. If God were a single, solitary mind, then bonds would be an add-on, a hobby, something God started doing when creation showed up. But if God has always been a communion of 3, then love is the oldest thing there is. Older than stars, older than time itself. That means when you sit across from someone and feel truly known, you're touching something that mirrors the deepest shape of reality. But this also means the image has limits when it comes to power. Humans love pyramids. Boss on top, workers below. The teaching of the 3 persons refuses that shape. No person ranks above another. No person commands while the others obey. If you're building a community, a family, a team, and you claim this God as your model, you can't build a pyramid and call it holy. The model is a circle. Always has been. There's a catch, though. This circle of shared life only works because the persons are fully divine. Strip any one of them of full divinity, and the circle falls into a ladder. That's why the old debates were so fierce. It wasn't fussy Greek thinking for its own sake. It was protecting the shape of God. And the shape of God sets the shape of everything built in God's image. Studies in how people think about faith turned up something that would have horrified those ancient bishops. When asked to draw or describe the 3 persons, Most people fall back on the mask model, one God swapping faces. The very error the early church spent centuries fighting is the image most believers carry in their heads today. The words made it into the creeds, but the picture didn't make it into the gut. And maybe that's the real invite. Not to master the terms, though the terms matter. Not to pick the perfect image, though images help. But to let the strangeness stand. To sit with a truth that doesn't flatten into a bumper sticker. One being, three persons. An endless dance of giving and receiving, where no one grasps and no one loses. It's not tidy, but the deepest truths rarely are. If this story pulled you in, there's more where it came from. Hit subscribe, because the next one goes even deeper into the questions that shaped how billions of people see the world. And somewhere in that sweltering hall, the bishops are still arguing. The words are still warm, and the dance has never stopped.